What's up, guys? Why does my screen look different? Oh, there we go. Okay. So, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Currently, we got an empty chat room here, but I have a feeling that's going to change in the very near future. Today's topic is going to be 6.0 Powerstroke builds. So, what we want to go over, basically, those of you guys that have been here before, welcome back. Those of you guys that haven't, I'm going to explain what we tend to do on these live streams, especially for those of you guys that are missing it now and watching the live stream later. First off, they're a lot of fun to do for me and typically for you guys because you can ask me questions in real time. Also, what happens is basically the topic that I put up is basically for when there's downtime in the chat. So when you guys aren't asking me questions, I kind of revert to that topic as kind of a way to fill some of the space. So I'm not here staring at the screen waiting for somebody to ask me a question. I have a topic on hand to kind of go to. Excuse me, a lot of times you guys will ask similar questions to the topic and we just kind of roll with it. So welcome, guys. Eli, how you doing, brother? OJ, how you doing too? Guys, we have 6 people in here and 5 likes. So let's fix that. Let's get one more like up there on the board. Sean, how you doing, man? How have brake calipers been on your 6.0? I've never blown a brake caliper up on a 6-liter. Guys, I am sorry. I have a little bit of sinus stuff going on. So if I sound a little goofy, bear with me. I've taken about every sinus med on the market. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But I have taken stuff to try to help clear me out so I don't sound so ridiculous. And I probably see me throw a few lozenges in throughout this. So, which reminds me, I'll put them over here on the table. It's not COVID, I swear. I'm COVID free. Due to working in healthcare, I have to currently mandated to be tested weekly. I hate it, but it, if the population I work with, it's important that we do that. But anyway, moving on. Tyler, my Cummins expert, good because inevitably we always get a few Cummins questions in here. I love that people come to the channel from all aspects of diesel. Cummins, Duramax, mostly Powerstrokes. You guys do make up the majority, but I do enjoy that we get a lot of variety here, especially because, as I have plans for the channel down the road. I didn't forget about the caliper, Sean. I will ask about that. I will continue that in a second. But I would like to do stuff down the road that involves other vehicles. Again, the channel needs to be much bigger than it currently is, but down the road, I hope to do that. Even if I sound like a gravel road, I did apologize for how I sound. It's terrible, but we're gonna keep doing by, and it's just ginger ale, guys. Nothing fancy here. Very good tasting ginger ale. Anyway, so brake calipers. I've not blown one up. Josh has not blown one up. The brakes are very similar on the 7.3s, though there is a size difference for the Super Duties from the early ones to the 04, especially 05s. And my dad's never blown one up. We all have had sticking calipers, though. That has happened to all of us. So they are an issue. My recommendation, if you haven't already, would be to go back and change your brake lines all the way around. Get all new brake lines. Sometimes what happens is there's a part that's collapsed. So as the pressure's building to push the fluid through to create the hydraulic pressure to actuate the piston in the brakes, sometimes it won't let it go back through. It can be very hard on pistons. I would imagine you'd wear seals out. And maybe I'm misunderstanding what you mean by blow your caliper. But that would be a very common thing that does happen with 6 liters. And I mean, these trucks are getting old. I think that's the issue on my 2015. Granted, they were just beat up. So, brake lines. So it really just depends. Are you blowing multiple ones? I personally really like braided lines on my white truck, my 6-liter, I have braided, stainless braided lines all the way around. On the black truck, apparently I'm bombing at this because people are just leaving. We only have 6 people in here. Anyway, but my black truck currently just has OEM, and it's kind of my current debacle. Do I upgrade to the stainless braided lines that I really like? Or do I, since I only currently need to replace one, do I just go with an OEM one? It's really going to come down to price. But I will say braided lines, hands down, are superior, and you will tell a difference in your braking performance. Why that is it's not that changing the material necessarily makes it better, but that, you know, those rubber hoses expand. So as you hit your brake pedal, so say this is the diameter of it, and this is obviously changed a lot. As you hit the brake pedal and that fluid starts to come through, it does this. It expands. So you kind of lose some of it. So, Sean, what do you do with your truck that you think they're just overheating and that's what your issue is? I mean, it could happen. I would say in that case, I can't say I've ever felt I've beat on my truck enough regularly to feel like I needed to do this. But I mean, if you really feel like you're having issues and that's part of it, maybe changing out brake fluid, like giving your not flushing a whole system, but every so often opening up the bleeder valves and pushing a little out, help keep some fresh stuff in there. I'm not a big diehard fan of like changing all my brake fluid. I know some people like really act like if you don't change your brake fluid out all the time, you're not maintaining your truck, but I think that's kind of dumb. Yeah, Sean, I don't know. I don't know that's the case. What where are you getting your brake calipers from? You going advanced, you going forward? You running Power Stop is a pretty popular one as well. So while we have a little downtime here, so those of you guys that have come in since I started, obviously I want to try to include people that are new to the channel. And what we do is in the downtime, we talk about whatever the subject matter is while I'm waiting for more questions to be asked. Also, as this gets busier, typically we end up with 20, 30 people in here. It's not sometimes knocking on 40's door. We can get pretty busy. And what we do then is we turn around. If you super chat, if I end up behind in the comments and you need a question answered now or want it answered now, super chat it. I will stop the question I'm on unless I'm close to finishing it. And then I'll answer that and I'll answer them first. That being said, I always try to get to every question, and I think I'm pretty good at making sure I get through all of them. So you do not need to do that for me to get to your question at all. 6.0 Powerstroke builds. I get a lot of build questions, guys, as I'm sure you can imagine. And down the road, I want to talk about 6.7 builds, but right now, 6-liter builds is what I really, really know. And ficums have come up a lot lately, and what people should do with their ficum. So I want to talk about that for a little bit. Your ficum obviously sends an electrical volt to your injectors, 48 of them to be precise. The ficum is kind of like an amplifier. So 12 to 13 volts comes in, ideally 48 volts leaves to your injectors, and that's what fires them. And a lot of guys are you need to contact for Bless Performance Tuning, you need to contact him, and again use code 6.0 Bros, just like the turbo sponsor, and he'll get you hooked up. So with the ficum, so as it sends the 48 volts to the injectors, a lot of guys want to up that voltage. And here's why that's not a good idea. Now, I will say it will give you a little boost in power. It will give you a little bit better of cold starts. That being said, if your truck's healthy, you're not going to have cold start issues at all. Sorry, that's darn logical. I'll get rid of that. So when you just have the 48 volt ficum, that's what the whole system's designed around functioning is 48 volts, not 53, not 58. I think there might be 54 volt ficums out there. It's designed around the 48 volts. So that's what we should be using so we don't wear parts out prematurely. And also, if you have a good functioning ficum, your glow plugs are good, the glow plug module is good, everything's healthy, you're not going to have cold start issues. When you do have those cold start issues, you need to do it. And that's probably the most reason I hear people advocate for a higher voltage ficum is cold start. Between ficum tuning, that's come a really long way. You don't need to add a bunch of power with ficum tuning. For those of you guys that tow or are concerned about that, a lot of times you just kind of can refine it without really adding much. There's like economy tunes for your ficum that, again, we're not talking 40, 50 horsepower. We're just talking maybe 5 to 10, especially if you're talking about on top of a PCM tune as well. and it'll give you a lot of those better performances anyway without prematurely wearing parts out. So that's kind of the thing about ficums I wanted to get out there, because a lot of guys are talking about it. OJ, you're going to love the Androids. I love the Android head unit in my white truck. When I get it back, we will probably, I'll probably still run it, but it's getting older now. And excuse me, they've definitely made some advancements in Android head units that have more RAM and just run a little smoother. Mine runs good, but it can be a little laggy. So when I get mine back, I want to redo the whole interior, put a bunch of sound deadening on, new carpet and everything. The driver's seat in the white truck needs reupholstered. So when I do that project, I want to turn around and I'll probably look at replacing my head unit as well. But yeah, we kind of want to redo a couple things in the white truck for the sound system as well, and just kind of make stuff a little neater. And of course, make more power. We need to make more power in the white truck. But so Jeremy, to talk about Blessed Performance tunes first. So I'm running their race tune now. That's the next tune review coming up. I think he calls it like Extreme Performance. I do kind of forget, but he's got such a cool name for his street tune, Eco Beast. I love it. But I'm running his race tune right now, and I do really like it. It's fun. It's got a lot of power. The shifting's good. You definitely need to take it easy when you're first shifting around, because the TCM needs to learn the tune. And of course, now we have the full exhaust on. Those of you guys that watched the last video, you guys have all seen the exhaust out there. And it sounds pretty good. I do like it. It doesn't sound like a 6-liter, and I hate that, because the 6-liter sounds so good. Which reminds me, the turbo sound from the 6-liter, besides being music to our ears, it made me think of intakes for the turbocharger anyway. And Turbo Time USA sent out this vacuum gauge. We're going to hook it up in the black truck and kind of do some testing, because we are going to upgrade the intake on that. That's going to end up getting a whole piping system, but one of the next mods to the 6.7 is going to be, after I get the exhaust video out to you guys, and of course the race video, it's going to be an intake. And I wish I could review a bunch of intakes. Like, I wish I could have somebody that wanted to buy an intake, and I could kind of give them a little bit of cash to let me borrow it for 2 weeks, and then give it to them, just because I want to try a bunch of different stuff. S&B has a really cool one, but when I do the full piping kit on the truck, I want the all metal look. So lots of different. You think there is much benefit to swapping out? Ugh, that feels terrible. Oh, do you think there's as much benefit to swapping out OEM for a new intake on a stock truck? Yes and no. So, yes, I think so. Anytime you make it easier for your turbo to bring air in, you reduce strain on your overall setup. Now, on a stock truck, especially if you're not running tuning, that's going to be negligible, if anything. I mean, the horsepower amount we're talking, you're not even going to feel the difference. It'd be so small. Now, easier to clean your intake, or maintain your filter, I should say, 100%. I don't know. If you're running tunes, I think there's the ability, like, I do think there's benefit. Like, if you're running a tow tune, like, I really think the stock intake on a 6.0, as far as filtration goes, second to none. I get a lot of crap about what I've said about intakes on 6-liters and advocating for aftermarket ones. But I will say, if you're running factory tuning, you will see no benefit. Now, if you just want to do it because you like it, I think that's cool. Rock on. And don't let anyone tell you different. Just be aware with all the aftermarket intakes is it's going to require additional maintenance on your truck. So just bear that in mind. Now, I will say, if you put a aftermarket turbo that's larger in size. I don't care if you go as small as a 61 millimeter, and definitely by the time you hit 63 millimeters, you need to upgrade your air intake. You are excuse me, you are restricting flow and you are hurting yourself. Plus you're increasing strain on your turbo because of that. And that's kind of what Turbo Time USA's new it's just a vacuum gauge. It's not a super complex thing. It's not even mechanical, or it's only mechanical. It's not even electric. So it's kind of nice because you just got to plumb stuff in. You don't have to worry about a whole bunch of hooking up electrical stuff. That being said, it did make me think I probably down the road will actually add a sensor onto my Edge CTS, which is actually sitting right here because the file's corrupt on it. And I have to, I'm going to try one more thing tonight, see if I can't get it to work. And if not, I'm going to be sending it out to Edge. I've been in contact with them already. I advocate for these things a lot. It's only like 2 years old. So I'm a little irritated that it's given me issues already because I am. These things aren't cheap, $400. Or I think with the time I got this, I think $420. So I'm a little frustrated that it's giving me a hard time right now, but I got sidetracked. I'd probably add a sensor on that for, hold on a second. Probably add a sensor on that for vacuum to see, so to actually put numbers to some of these claims that a lot of people have made, because no one's really sat down and proved this, or like whether it be correct or wrong. 6-liter V8 isn't exactly a huge displacement, but it is a relatively big engine. It's turbocharged, it's high performance, it's moving a lot of air. Yeah, OJ, if you're just running a tow tune and you're on a stock charger, I would say you're not going to notice anything. Now, I don't recommend pushing the stock air intake, that filter, super far. Like, some people go years, and don't get me wrong, it will hold several pounds of dirt before it actually starts pulling any through. But why push it? It filters really, really well. Like I said, with that vacuum gauge, I want to try to kind of test some of this stuff out and see what the whole deal is, and actually kind of start putting maybe some proof to it. On the 6-liter, we're running a pretty big turbo, a 66 millimeter. So it is pulling a lot of air. In the shop, guys, check out In the Shop. He runs a couple, I think he runs at least, Nate, how many pages are you running right now on Facebook? You're at least one of the admins for at least one or two of them, I believe. But cool channel. He's got 6-liters on there too, guys. He's on a lot of the 6-liter forums. So check his channel out, guys. Him and I are talking about in the future, a little sneak preview of maybe trying to do some kind of live web stream together and kind of talking to each other. But here's the caveat. We don't know how to do that yet. So both of us are trying to figure out how we can make that kind of video happen, but it would be cool. So he's on 6.0 and 6.7 Powerstroke forums. But yeah, so neither of us know how to do it. It's something we're working on and we're talking, so stay tuned for that. I'm super excited about it. Super nice guy and very helpful. He's got some very helpful videos out there, so check him out when you guys have a second. Don't leave the live stream. Just check him out because he's a cool dude. So, but no, I definitely we're gonna hook that up in the 6.7 StreamYard. I do not, I don't have an iPhone, but I have an iPad. Maybe we can figure something out there. I don't know. Instagram, I think, used to have like a feature where you could have more than one person on. Maybe it's not a YouTube platform thing. Maybe we head to Instagram. But again, we're working on that. StreamYard, I am going to pull that up in another window here and look into that. Up to 6 people. That's pretty cool. That I'm definitely going to look into that because that would kind of add a new dynamic one as I do live streams in the future of being able to kind of not just have people like Nate on or in the shop, but maybe have some other guests on down the road. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be a new dynamic to the live stream. So anyway, so yeah, comparing intakes and the vacuum pull and the strain on the turbos. I want to look this up a little. I'm looking more into it. And there's my sister. Aldo, thank you. Aldo, Jay, whatever. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. So we're going to hook that gauge up in the 6.7. I don't have like a place to put it, and I'm not going to get a pod. So it's probably something I'll kind of plug off from time to time, and really just when I'm doing testing stuff, run it. That's cool. Armor Inc. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, so that is one of the big things I want to try to do is kind of, when I say I've gotten a lot of flack, and don't get me wrong, some people have been super cool and super respectful. Ryan, what's up, man? About their questions around me advocating for aftermarket intakes on trucks. And I think a lot of times people don't realize is OEM intakes are built typically for the OEM vehicle. They're not built to handle what a lot of us do to them, modify them, make more power, put bigger turbos on. They're set around their set. I'm going to answer the CCV reroute in just a minute. And for some reason, on 6-liter pages in particular, guys are obnoxiously passionate about saying, no, you should not do this. And I don't really know why. Like, I've seen claims, people saying 700 horsepower on factory 6-liter intake, and that's not true. Now, I will say on 6.7s, you can make a lot of power with the factory intake, and I think it's not so much to do with the filter as it is overall efficiency of the common rail system. I don't have a ton of technical data to back that up, but that's kind of my theory, is that it's more to do with the injection system and just the advancements that have happened as opposed to the intake itself. I do firmly believe that the best one for the Cummins is power-driven diesel out of all the aftermarket ones. A lot of times, no limits real big in Powerstroke stuff. And I hear there are things that I will say this. On the 6.7s, these 5-inch intakes a lot of guys are running, a lot of times they're hitting their hood, so I'm kind of against them. And I'm not saying they don't bring in the most air, but you still got to bottle it down to 4-inch pipe anyway. So I don't quite understand why people want to put a 5-inch intake on it when you're got to restrict it down to 4 inches anyway to fit the turbo. Crankcase vent reroute, yes or no? So my 6-liter runs crankcase, the factory crankcase stuff. Here's where I currently side. One, I think it's way too redneck to just run a hose down under your vehicle, and I don't like that. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying I don't like it. And apparently the air coming by it does create a little bit of a vacuum, kind of like an intake system would, to kind of help alleviate that pressure. I honestly think the catch cans are the go-to. I think one, they're the cleanest looking setup running. I don't think you need to run AN line, but some people make them really nice with AN fittings and stuff. The only thing I have against that, I shouldn't say I even have anything against it, is if you need to take stuff apart. Like my 6-liter, even when nothing's wrong, I take it apart all the time making videos. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've had the truck apart at this point. And like a year and a half ago, I think I tore it down like 5 times for different videos. So when you're looking at that, that's kind of a giant pain in the butt, and I don't feel like dealing with it. If I have to keep unscrewing AN lines, and maybe it's easier than I'm making it out to be, but popping a hose out is just a little simpler sounding to me. Sorry, my phone's blinking like crazy because I was answering stuff on forums before this and at the gym. So, but anyway, I'm not against them. I'm just all about making them clean. I think the catch cans are the cleanest. Now, I will say all the intake options I'm looking at, delete them. So I'll probably have to run some kind of catch can will probably be my go-to. Excuse me. I know SPE, S, SPE, SPD, something like that. They have a really cool like internal catch can that helps catch the oil vapor and keep it in there. Then when you turn the truck off, it lets it drain back in. I think that's a pretty cool setup. They also have, which you run that with on top, like underneath the reroute. It comes with all the screws and stuff. It's a nice setup. What else is there? I just think the catch can's probably cool. Just running that over to like the firewall if you can find space for it and just popping it in there. I'm not opposed to them. Some people are super opposed to them. I mean, I don't really have that. Oh, that's another option. A lot of guys run them into the exhaust. More than one, or like there's several companies that actually sell a piece you can weld into your exhaust and then run your crankcase vent into it. That's another very viable option. I don't think you have to delete it. I will say on 6.7s, you get codes for the crankcase vent. It's pretty common. I did a video not that long ago showing replacing all that. That kind of sucks. It was like $100 part to replace. Aldo, welcome back, man. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. I hate to say it, but I like the Weston with his Fummins 350. There's nothing wrong with a Cummins or a Cummins swapped Ford. Kirk, man, that's funny. I know you guys can't see the comment. I am gonna hide it. I don't let political stuff happen just because I don't want to deal with the repercussions of it. That was really funny though. I'll tell everybody it was a swing at the potential president elect and the EPA and what they want to do. So, Jordan. Jordan, as soon as I have the money for the 6-liter, the 6-liter's coming back. Don't you guys worry. I want the 6-liter back, and I can't wait to have it. I miss the sound of that thing. Nathan, Nathan is one of the guys up at camp, actually. Those of you guys that wonder why there were some Fridays without live streams, it's typically because I was at camp. Sorry, just pouring more ginger ale here. Hammer Down Motorsports in the house, guys. He is a good friend of mine. Check out his channel as well. The new Bronco is awesome, and I wish I was a more wealthy individual to buy a Ford Bronco because they look awesome. However, I don't know that my audience would respond super well to it. I think a lot of you guys would watch it, but I don't know that you guys would love it. George. Oh God. My sister here, although I will say, she is supporting me. All right, we'll get back on top. So let's switch topics to the Bronco because the Bronco is really cool. I really think Jeep has something to worry about with all the features Ford packed into that Ford Bronco. And I think there's going to be some Jeep owners that jump ship over to the Bronco. I think they already had to extend people that were pre-ordering them. OJ, what year stock wheels are you looking for? And how close to Pennsylvania are you? Because I'm selling the wheels and tires off the black truck to put platinum wheels and tires on. OJ, are you King of Prussia? It's like an hour from me. What, you want to get rid of your rock stars for factory, or are you looking for a winter set? I literally have platinum wheels in the next room that I just have been super lazy about cleaning up. Ginger ale bold, I bet. I like to mix two goldish colored things together to make this delightful ginger ale. So Brad, yeah, so gas in a diesel is a bad day. Um, so the water separator, that probably didn't have anything to do with the gas that's in there. That's probably just hammer down. You need to buy that Bronco. Ninja, what's up, brother? Yeah, that'd be with a blow-off valve. Yeah. Now the question is, can the Bronco compete with your off-road F-150? Because I mean, that thing is mint. I don't know if it can do what your off-road F-150 can. OJ, do you follow me on Instagram? First off, because if you do, hit me up and we can talk. I don't really want to. I have wheels for it. I'd be very interested in selling the wheels and tires off my black truck. Yeah, hit me up if you're interested, man. The mud mouse is afraid of nothing. Hammer down. I think we need to jump that thing. I never got to jump it. I never got to be in it when you jumped it. I think that needs to happen again one of these days. But you kind of fixed your property up from doing all that nonsense. So now we need to find a place to ramp it. Threaten me with a good time. Yeah, guys, seriously, Steve at Hammer Down Motorsports is an awesome guy with an awesome channel. Nah, still send it. Steve, I think I'll be texting you. We do need to hang out. Need to go have a beer or two before Governor Wolf shuts down the entire state again. Huh, a whiskey man. I like it. I would love to smoke a cigar, but I'm inside my house and it's too cold outside to move this live stream outside. Plus, my lighting outside sucks. I'm sure my neighbors hate when I do that live streams outside, but I don't typically get too upset about that. What do we got going on here? Jordan wants me to tell you guys how supportive I am. The lighting in my garage is even worse than the lighting outside the house. And it's not that the lighting outside the house is bad. It's actually really nice to sit out there. It's just the camera doesn't pick up. I look more orange than Donald Trump does during a rally. Can't shut down my personal bar. That's right. Steve, I'll be over with a case or two of beer. And it's been a while since I've seen you. And I get tested weekly right now, so I know I don't have the Rona. But who wants to see me go over to Steve's and goof around with his gorgeous mint F-150 and go off-roading? Truck just set a number 6 contribution code. Had to replace the alt yesterday. Ninja, is your truck... So contribution codes are caused by a couple different things. First, if your truck's not running rough, you're probably looking at stiction issues. It could turn into an injector being stuck wide open in the future. If you aren't already, what I found when I had started getting that code, it was actually number 6, was years and years, was probably 2 or 3 years before I started the channel. And what I found is a fresh oil change would reset it for about 1,000 miles. And then when it came back and I started doing more oil changes and I started using Arch Oil to help, I noticed it would go away until it was time for another oil change. So it was frustrating to deal with. At the end of the day, you are masking symptoms with using arch oil, but I will say it does work wonders. You'll be shocked at how good. I talk about it in a video. Um, that video, I'm like number 20 if you put in Powerstroke arch oil, but I do like it. It is a good band-aid. I will say in my 6 liter, I use it all the time, even though the 6 liter was gone through completely and it had fresh set of injectors, but just to make sure. And I plan to use arch oil in the 6.7 next. Would a leaking fuel water separator let air in the system causing bad pressure? Should I be looking more at the pump or oil pressure? I've asked you this every time I see you. Brad, I'm sorry if I've missed it. So if you have a no start, the things you really need now, that doesn't sound like that would cause a no start to me. That O-ring, like even if it was shot, more than less. Oh, okay. As long as I answer every time, I don't want to ignore you. More than likely, the pump is creating, like right off the pump, as long as your pump's healthy, you're probably creating at least 50 to 65 psi of fuel pressure. So more than likely, it's more that the fuel's going to press out of there and not suck in, because at that point you're pumping it down. Now, if you had say like the water separator was before the pump and that O-ring cracked, then you'd have a chance to actually suck air in, but it's after the pump, or at least it's internal to the pump. So, excuse me, you'd have no draw there. You have fuel pressure pushing out. Next, you would so verifying fuel pressure would be one thing. So you have new injectors, going bad, running rough. Okay. So I would say you do need to get an eye on your fuel pressure and see what it's doing. Running rough could mean a lot of things. But if you have low fuel pressure, you're going to really hurt those injectors. If you can't make at least 45 PSI of fuel pressure dynamically, which means while actually driving at idle, even a bad pump a lot of times will make at least 50 PSI. But if you're in it and that's dropping, running good, you'd be shocked. I thought my white truck was running good after I actually did see how Hammer Down Motorsports and I met was actually through a featured section on a channel that we're not going to talk about anymore because the guy's kind of a goofball. But that's actually how I met him. And in that video, actually, that was one of the things he said is like, oh, his truck runs pretty good for a 6 liter, because you got to insert the 6 liter joke. And Jordan, I will bring your giant whatever the heck you ordered over tomorrow. Probably after I help Uncle Mike pick up some plywood. So probably before lunch, Jordan. Which means you should make me something for lunch, I think. Anyway, Brad, back to your fuel pressure here. So the fuel pressure is going to, or excuse me, talking about if you can't. I thought my truck was running really good, but my fuel pressure gauge that I just installed, I should say, was actually showing me that I was down in the 30s. And even one time I was just cruising. I was coming home from Josh's house. I wasn't even in the throttle hard. I was just maintaining speed. Jordan, I will happily accept a turkey burger for lunch tomorrow. Thank you. With American cheese. So what had happened was my fuel pressure even dipped down to like 15. Yeah, Brad, I would check by verifying fuel pressure while driving. I think that's Jerome, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. Ninja, that very well could be it. With that alternator going down, it could have for a split second. Maybe that ficum's not bad, but maybe it's not able to create 48 volts if the voltage coming in is low. That's super hard on them. But as long as you have good voltage and it's good, then I wouldn't be worried. But you already have a backup. Lucky. That's one thing I really want to get into with my 6 liter when it's back. Is I really want to get into what is true bulletproof. We're going to answer that in a minute. We're going to talk about We're going to finish up this fuel question, then hit this ficum, and then we're going to talk about that. So, anyway, check your fuel pressure. Get a gauge of some sort. There's lots of videos. Glow Shift makes a pretty affordable one if you just need something cheap. If you want expensive, Edge CTS, even though mine's not working, I stand by the Edge CTS series is probably the nicest monitors you can get for these vehicles. Especially the CS3 seems super cool. And down the road, when I have 2 trucks running again, I'm going to probably buy the CS3 and compare CS2 to CS3. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I would love to compare a Pro too. But I don't have 3 vehicles, and I'm not buying. And that's also like $1,000 and stuff I just rattled off. So yeah, get a fuel gauge hooked up and then start doing a few drives and really get in the throttle and see what happens to your fuel pressure. Ficum. Let's tune motorcraft. Yeah, Brad, and feel free to reach out to me on Instagram if you want to, if you have any other questions. Guys, I also haven't said it. 6.0 Bro merch. You can't see this shirt well. This is one of the Amazon shirts. This is my favorite Amazon shirt. This is the classic t-shirt. Don't buy the more expensive premium one. I need to just take that off the Amazon one. But check out links to this and Teespring. If your Teespring has the SOB shirt, it has the Making 6.0s Great Again shirt. And hopefully this week I'm going to sit down and spend some time and get the SOB on the front with Making 6.0s Great Again on the back. And I'm also thinking about a Road to 10K shirt that I'd like to put up before, which again will be limited edition until we hit 10K, followed by the also limited edition, 10K club shirts that will be coming out when we hit 10K. So we need to make that happen before Christmas. Made the mistake of getting ahead of myself and deeming as the culprit, replaced it and still no fuel pressure. Long story, my PCM failed to set the ground to finish the circuit. Jerome, one thing with this is one thing I've also gotten a fair amount of fuel pressure, and me and one guy, we were chasing this around for a while. We had a heck of a time, and I kind of was stumped. All of his lines looked good. What it turned out being was one of the metal lines in a spot that was really hard to see was kinked very hard, and that's what cost him fuel pressure. So check all your metal lines as well. Make sure none of them are kinked. Hold on, I'm missing something here. Oh, what does a true bulletproof 6.0 Powerstroke mean? There's a lot of debate on this. So we're going to talk about 3 different things. We're going to talk about what most people say a bulletproof 6-liter is. We're going to talk about what a bulletproof 6-liter actually meant at one point, followed by my interpretation of it. So we got 3 different things on this topic, so it's kind of big. First, typically when people refer to a 6.0 as being bulletproof, they typically reference having the head studded. That's typically what most people use bulletproof for. You always need to clarify what they mean because, again, I'm saying there's 3 interpretations. And the middle one, what it truly was originally meant to be, actually has some levels to it. So, and even the more expensive level of that, I completely disagree with. So anyway, so typically people reference it as a fresh oil cooler and a head stud job. Sometimes they include a new EGR cooler in there, but not always. A lot of guys typically refer to it as just a stud job. What bulletproofed 6.0 Powerstroke actually used to mean when it really became a popular phrase was it meant that people went to bulletproof diesel, they got their oil cooler and their EGR cooler set up, and studded. So the original meaning was ARP head studs, a bulletproof diesel EGR cooler, and a bulletproof diesel oil cooler. Now, I will say, in my opinion, at least addressing the EGR, whether via delete, if that's okay in your area, or with an EGR cooler from Bulletproof Diesel or one of the built-up ones. And water pump. The water pumps became a thing after the fact. I personally think that's all marketing hype. I'm not saying they're not nice units. I just don't. I've never had a blade pop off my. And here's the thing: it's a plastic water pump. So if it smacks around in there, oh well. Versus a metal one breaks, it's going to destroy your front cover. They're like $600-700. So you don't get better performance out of your water pump. It's just metal. So Nick, yeah, that later on they ended up doing the ficums. I'm talking about the original meaning of Bulletproof 6-liter, where it stemmed from. So those of you guys following the comments in here, what you'll notice is after those initial things, Bulletproof Diesel became very popular, especially with their EGR coolers, because nobody else at the time had a solution for the EGR coolers that worked. They were just these failure-prone things, and nobody understood that the oil cooler is actually what really hurt the EGR cooler in the first place. So as they became really popular and big, they started doing more things. They came out with a heavy-duty oil cooler setup. They came out with a winter prep package for it. They came out with ficums. Then they had the 7-phase ficum, which basically had multiple circuits on. So if one failed, something else picked up the slack, or you could change your voltage to 58 volts or 54 volts or 53. I can't remember if it was 54 or 53, one of those two. So you had 3 options with that ficum, keeping it at 48, 53/54, or going to 58 volts on it. And they're, of course, billet water pump as well. And now they have a whole line of EGR coolers for multiple vehicles out there. I'd say they're a good company. Again, I do think there's a lot of marketing hype in some of their products. I mean, I think their EGR cooler is good. I completely disagree with their oil coolers. I just don't think they're needed. I would be more. They do have a relocation kit now. I like that, although I'd like to see them have a little bit cleaner of an install on it than they currently have. It is like, I will say this, their oil cooler relocation kit is all super nice stuff. Like, it's all very, very nice products. You don't like, they didn't cut any cost corners. So it's good in that regard. I just don't like the end product. Josh has it on his truck, and I don't like the way it looks. But it's nice product. Like, it is super nice. So they have done a lot of stuff. What does bulletproofing your 6.0 Powerstroke mean to me personally? So first, we're going to say addressing the EGR cooler. I'm not going to necessarily say you have to delete it, but you need to make sure that you have something to make sure it's reliable. The other thing, getting a fresh oil cooler in there if appropriate. If your oil cooler is not clogged, don't replace it. That's a waste of money. Some people do it anyway, but those two things, addressing EGR cooler, making sure your oil cooler is working appropriately. I think it's more important to get a set of aftermarket heads, the Kill Devil Diesel head, so that you don't have to worry about cracking in the injector cups. Bulletproof Diesel has kind of a fix for that in the factory head, but I don't like it. It's more of a Band-Aid as opposed to fixing the issue, whereas Kill Devil Diesel's addressed that issue, and I think that's super cool product they have with the Kill Devil Diesel cylinder heads and O-ringing them, giving that extra clamping force to the head that we need anyway in the 6-liter market. Excuse me. In my opinion, that with studs is truly what bulletproofing a 6.0 means. Addressing EGR cooler, O-ring Kill Devil Diesel heads with ARP head studs, I think is in my opinion what truly bulletproofing a 6-liter means. Let's see here. I know I've missed some stuff, so let me get on this. Got the T in my Amazon cart. I like the gray one. All right, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just wanted to let you know when.
Okay, keep your phone on you. We got a live stream here. Kirk, or not a live stream, a super chat. Kirk, thank you, man. I appreciate that. You don't have any comments, but I appreciate the $5. Thank you. Let me get up to date here. So, Drome, unless you ground it, I don't know what that problem would be. Does not run unless you ground it. Is your ground going into the connector on the factory harness bad versus the new pump? Maybe that's your issue there. Studded oil cooler, heads, coolant bypass, EGR cooler, plus other things. Making 6.0s great again. I should probably put that on one of the t-shirts. That'd be kind of funny. Ford updates, Jerome, that's another thing. Bulletproofing. This isn't necessarily considered bulletproofing as opposed to just updating. There's lots of updates that have been out there over the years for the truck. Studs, oil cooler, EGR delete would be a stage 1. So, Daniel, it really kind of depends what you're talking about with the stage 1. So I started a build series, and it's probably about time for me to finish the tow series. At the end of the day, with 6 liters, at some point they're probably going to blow heads. There's lots of guys that are running high mileage engines without, but there's a good chance they'll blow heads. Embrace it. It's going to happen. We're 6 liter owners. Cooler EGR. So, excuse me. In my opinion, if you're going to do the work to stud it, I don't want to stage doing a head stud job on a 6 liter. In my opinion, a proper head stud job on a 6.0 Powerstroke would involve you'd have to completely re-go through cylinder heads to make them viable options. You're probably talking about $1,800, at least $1,600 to have them decked, valve seats redone, making sure the valve is seated deep enough so it's not contacting pistons, especially when you're flattening that mating surface off, which also then you got to look at push rods and all these other things in there. Just getting a set of Kill Devil Diesel heads is just the best way, in my opinion. ARP head studs, I think, is good for guys that plan to stay under 500 horsepower. If you want to go over, I think, don't get me wrong, they're a little more than double the money for the age studs, but I think if you're going to push mid 500s, you're smart just to get the age studs and call it a day. Peace of mind, especially on top of the Kill Devil Diesel cylinder heads, you'll be good to go. In my opinion, if you're going to do it, go that route, just because it's not worth. I've seen guys that have had head stud jobs done on 6 liters for 2,000 miles down the road to crack a cylinder head, that they did nothing wrong. The stud job, they did nothing wrong, but they're super upset with the mechanic because now their truck has this issue and the mechanic did nothing wrong. It's just 6.0 cylinder heads crack. So I highly recommend doing it right, getting Kill Devil Diesel heads. Gotta run. Let me hit this like button as always, and I'd be glad you don't live close to me. I'd be over every day. Brad, I'm sure I missed you, but thank you for coming in, man. I appreciate all the support, brother. Daniel, the remote mount oil coolers are, Josh loves his. I just don't. I just think it could be cleaner. Kirk, I do apologize about holding your comment back. It triggered in the YouTube system, and I'm actually not quite sure why it did. YouTube is not. They're pretty anti against some of the stuff people may state out there. Don't get me wrong. On my Instagram and my Facebook, I don't have any issues with political stuff. I'll tell everybody right now, I'm a conservative. I imagine most of my subscribers are, but I just try to keep this platform political free so people can come here and enjoy. Don't get me wrong, your comment was funny as heck. It made me laugh. Now I'm coughing. I hate sinus issues. So I do apologize seriously, and I appreciate your support, brother, because I know you've been around a long time. So I do really, really appreciate it. I am sorry that I held that comment. Oh, so you, Jerome, your PCM went bad? That's awful, dude. That's a bad freaking day. That sucks. Also, 5 custom tunes by. I'm not familiar with that tuning company. LSXKLR. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. Ryan, so if you're not having I want to say, Kirk, are you still in here, brother? I do like I feel really bad about that. I did like I'm sorry, man. I just want you to know I feel crappy about that. I wish I didn't have to censor comments like that. Um and I want you to know I legitimately feel crappy about it, man. Like please light any of my other social media up with political stuff because I'm all for it. Or, truthfully, like this is the one place I keep political free. I am sorry, brother. I feel crappy. But Ryan, I hope you're still in here, dude. If you don't have an issue, first off, you're lucky to be at 270,000 miles without an issue. The biggest thing I do, make sure your EGR stays healthy, make sure your oil cooler stays healthy, and I'd run it till it blows. Typically, when 6 liters blow gaskets, they don't blow them to the point that you can't get home. Kirk, I see a comment there, man. Dude, seriously, I am sorry. I hope you do realize I feel bad about that because I am an avid believer in the First Amendment. Excuse me, and I really am like I am pro Constitution all the way, especially 1 and 2A all the way. So I hope you understand, man. I appreciate your support more than you know, and I just don't want you to think I let that comment be deleted without thinking about it first because I do feel crappy that I did that. I hope that's coming through, truthfully. But Ryan, if your truck's running good, man, I wouldn't stud it until you have an issue. Now, if it's rust, I saw somebody talk about rust there. If it's rust, yeah, so you're good that. I mean, that's one thing you got to look at is if the body and frame need addressing, understanding what your investment is, because it's money you're probably not going to get back. And truth be told, and knocking on wood here for you, brother, it could blow. It could have a major issue tomorrow. It's a high mileage engine. But me personally, I literally don't plan to ever get rid of my 6 liter. I plan to keep it on the road. I want it to be one of those trucks that another 15 years from now, someone's like, how old is that truck that you're still daily driving? The infamous blowing intercooler boots. I need to do a video on this. Because my white truck makes a fair amount of power. It makes a fair amount of boost. At times I've seen on a stock charger, I was overspooling the stock charger though. Like 35 PSI on that thing. So, and I wasn't blowing boots. And part of that is making sure you have good boots, good clamps, and torquing your clamps to spec. Every set of those T-bar spring clamps has a working torque spec, and making sure you're not exceeding it. Because basically once you over tighten those, especially the factory intercooler pipes, because they don't have a bead roll, they kind of have an indented one. And what happens with that one is what happens with that one is as you press it in on the factory pipe, you can actually like dent that with your clamp if you tighten them too much. So making sure, yeah, I forget, a lot of the clamps are measured in like inch pounds. I can't remember what it is. Let me see. Let's see what 10 foot-pound to inch pound is. 10 inch pounds. Yeah, I think in some instances it's like 7 or 8 foot pounds. So 10 is a little more. But if it's working good, that's all that matters. Curl it. All right. We'll say one. Hey, Controlled Insanity, what's up, brother? 9 is factor. I thought it was a little less. All right. We're going to have very quick political conversation. One, I voted for Trump. Any liberals in there, please don't unsubscribe to me. I appreciate your support. And I think the best thing to do is for us to all find some common ground and start talking about stuff, because I refuse to believe that a lot of the extreme people in politics actually represent us as Americans. 2, the election. I think we as Americans deserve a better process, because the fact that we can honestly say that there is most likely fraud in more than one state and people not support the investigation of it, I think is disgusting, and I'm incredibly upset about it. Whoever wins, they better fix it, because it's not okay, and we deserve better as Americans. Lastly, the last thing I'll say about politics and Donald Trump potentially winning is that I think there's a chance he still wins. I don't think he's out of this, but he has a really big uphill battle. He needs to turn a lot of votes in at least 3 states to win re-election. And while I think Pennsylvania and Georgia he might potentially turn, he needs either Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, or Wisconsin to win a legal battle in as well. It's an uphill battle. I do think it's unlikely, but I don't think he's out of it yet. And I personally hope he wins. I support him. And I hope whoever wins fixes this process, because the fact that we can sit here over a week after the American election and say we don't know who our president is disgusting, and I'm upset about it, and I want somebody to fix it. That being said, let's talk about trucks, guys. I don't like talking politics on here, and I try not to upset the YouTube algorithm, because I do want this channel to keep growing. If people want to talk politics, though, seriously, on Facebook or my Instagram, hit me, light it up with it. I don't care. Seriously, light those pages up with a political everything. I'm all for it, guys. So, but again, I try not to let too much of it here. Controlled Insanity, I agree 100%. Truthfully, if there's transparency in the election process, maybe Trump needs a 6.0. If Trump wants, I will make 6.0s great again for President Trump. I love him. Anyway, we need transparency, and if the transparency is there, and we know there's not fraud and Joe Biden wins, I support the process of America. That includes the person that I don't agree with politically. Do I like Joe Biden? Not at all. Do I like Kamala Harris? Nope. But if the election wasn't rigged and they're the ones that won, I think they should be there. We have a process. We have a system of checks and balances, and I believe in it personally. And I refuse to say otherwise at this point. But I do think there's some issues, some monumental issues that need addressed. So now, as I look through, I'm pro guns and pro life. I love my guns. Huge climb. Trump 2020. Trump. This live stream's so getting taken down by YouTube. Anyway, Controlled Insanity. Seriously, welcome back, brother. Great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well, man. All right, we're gonna get off the election stuff, guys. I gave my opinion. I need to be careful with some of the election stuff. I'm gonna kind of remove a few things. Especially because I did kind of not let one other. I don't know why yours didn't flag. Like you said, you you had more aggressive stuff than someone else. And here you are, 6.0 Bros Party 2020. I used to have firearms, but they were tragically lost in a boating accident. I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm very upset. But yeah, I'm pro 2A. Anyway, trucks. Sometimes I get more white smoke after it sits from towing than if I just drive normal. Newer injectors, also any ideas? Huh. So when I used to run Windrunner Performance Engineering tuning on my 6-liter, I would get white smoke at startup, just a little puff, but not a ton. Typically, white smoke what I've noticed with white smoke is typically, especially if you're not noticing any issues in your degas bottle, it could be fuel. So it could be oil. A lot of times people don't realize it is that as the seals in the turbo go bad, they'll start pushing oil out your exhaust, and also it can happen on the intake side as well. But typically on the exhaust side is what happens. At least that's typically when people notice it. So check your exhaust and see if it's damp or wet at all. If it is, most likely your turbo is going bad. To which would be an excellent time to upgrade your turbo and check out our sponsor, Turbo Time USA. 6.0 Bros for 5% off their performance turbochargers. And for most people, I recommend a 64 millimeter turbo from those guys. Sorry, I'm all congested. This is like my most unprofessional live stream, blowing my nose and crap. I would need to do that as more people join it. Sorry, those of you just joining us, I'm not feeling 100% because my sinuses are awful. Back in the game. Got a good transfer question. All right, guys, we need to stay off politics. Trans is slipping but ran out of money. What's the best cheap fix? Controlled insanity. I'm right there with you on the ran out of money. Man, is it slipping in all gears, some gears? Have you tried? Are you running? I can't remember. What tunes are you running? The first thing I would probably do is switch to a light tune. If capable, even go back to factory. If not, go to a very mild toe tune. One, to keep strain off the trans that's in there. Two, I would start making sure it's not a solenoid failing, and I'd check your fluid and see what your fluid looks like. I'm a big advocator of making sure you have good fluid, not flushing the transmission, just putting good fluid in it, and getting the 6.4 filter along with it's going to come to me in a second, the MagTac or BD Diesel cast aluminum pans to help add rigidity to the case and keep it strong. So is it slipping, or is it having a hard time going? Like, does it feel like it's slipping going in from one gear into the next? And where's that happening? Daniel, SCT tuner, I forget what the heck I was talking to you, brother, about. Jay, I don't think I've ever removed this many comments from a live stream before. Guys, I love all of you and appreciate your support. Need no more politics, please. I do get worried about getting in trouble with this. Jay, I do not have COVID. I'm tested weekly, and I came back negative this week. I just have allergies going on. And in Pennsylvania, it did this really cool thing where it went from like 36 degrees to 70. And when that happens, my allergies get all messed up. Daniel, you're looking for display systems. Any recommendations? Yes, Daniel, I always recommend Edge products. Let me bring up an Amazon page so I can drop some links in here for you guys. I don't know if there's any CTS2 stuff still out there, but there's the CTS3 came out, and I plan to get it in the future for one of my trucks. I don't know which one I'll actually put it in. It'll probably go in the 6-liter, to be honest, unless my stuff doesn't work for it that I bought. So here's an affiliate link to what I recommend for monitoring solutions. I think it's hands down the best. Now, I will say it's expensive, and that doesn't include all the extra stuff you can get to add in there. So what I would do, what I would recommend next would actually be to look at Torque Pro or Forescan. Depending on what your monitoring needs are, they're much cheaper to get into. And let's get another link because you'll need an OBD2 Bluetooth sensor. Let's see. There are nicer ones than the one I'm going to put in here, but this is just a cheap one that gets you started, and I've had very good luck with them. Some of you guys know what the more expensive ones. I plan to test these in the future, but I just haven't gotten around to it. That's another affiliate link. And if you get the Bluetooth adapter is to use Torque Pro on your phone or Forescan. I think you'd be pretty happy with that for a lot because they really do cover about 97% of anything you'll need to monitor. Ryan. Your exhaust manifolds look wet. You might have oil, although it could be coolant. Could be coming from your valve cover. Look at your tailpipe of your truck and look to see if that's wet. That'll tell you if you have a turbo issue. 64 millimeter. Yeah, I'd say for most people, Ninja, the 64 millimeter turbo from Turbo Time USA is kind of like the go-to. In my opinion, that size turbo is like the gold standard of aftermarket turbos. And don't get me wrong, other people make similarly sized turbos. Just to throw it out, the KC turbo, my recommendation would be a stage 1.5 with the 10-blade turbine. They should make a 1.75, in my opinion. I think that'd be a nice setup for people looking to bridge the gap between a 64.7, which is their stage 2, and the 63.5 with a 13-blade turbine wheel, whatever you want to say. I don't really care. Anyway, that's kind of my tidbit on there. I think that 64 is kind of like the gold standard because it's small enough to spool fast with stock injectors, but big enough to also put you in about the 600 horsepower range with supporting mods. How much boost does a 64 millimeter? That's really hard to say. A lot of people don't realize that boost isn't necessarily indicative of power or overall performance. For instance, the larger in compressor wheel you go, the lower boost numbers you'll see. So a factory turbo on 6 liters typically make about 28 psi top end. You can get 30 out of them in some certain scenarios, but 28 psi is considered where a stock turbo lives with stock tuning. You go to a Power Max turbo, 63.5 millimeter compressor wheel, so it's like 3.5 bigger than most of the 6.0 turbos, and it's like 5 millimeters bigger than the late style turbos. But anyway, you're on that. You're looking at 20 psi. A Power Max will flow the same amount of air as a factory turbo does, but at 20 psi. So the Power Max making 20 psi, the factory turbo making 28 psi is the same amount. So if you change nothing else, you'll probably see relatively low, like probably like 20, like even with aftermarket tuning, maybe 24 psi. If you left it factory tuning and put that on, it'll run. It'll be a little laggy. but you won't see more than 20 to 22 psi out of it. But again, it's capable into the 30s as far as that goes. Jay, get a loan for the trans. I do not recommend that if you can avoid it. Let's see here. Holy crap, am I falling behind? I need to get my butt moving. The 3 to 4 shifter flaring converter lockup is going on and out. Controlled insanity. So you might actually have more of a shift flare. I want to say I would look at solenoids, and I'm not even 100% sure how to diagnose that. I think you have to hook up lines to some of your, or gauges some of your transmission lines. I don't know if there's sensors for how all that works, but I think you needed to look at that. And that's a little over my understanding of that transmission. But typically a 3 to 5, 3 to 4 shift flare is not actually your transmission failing, as opposed to you have issues going on. So I would highly recommend one of the deep dish pans like I had. I'll get you a link of what I'm talking about here. And the reason I recommend this is it's not just again, the affiliate links do help the channel. It's not just because I'm trying to make a buck. And honestly, I would consider going to Extreme Diesel and using their coupon code Diesel10 to see if you can't get a couple bucks off. But the reason I do that is so the transmission, when you're driving that transmission, it's a big, long transmission. And with the factory pan on, it kind of torques. So when you put those big cast aluminum pans on that have the like 1/4 inch thick flange, it restricts some of that torsional flexion that the 5R does. I imagine the 6R does some too, but they seem to have it a little better figured out. Let's see if they have any decent ones that are a little cheaper. Seems like $350 is about the going rate for these. So, all right, let me get to this. So anyway, that pan, what it helps do is it helps prevent some of that torsional flexion. It'll keep your ports all lined up in your transmission. And then it can help minimize it. Also, getting a fresh, when you do the deep dish pan, what it'll let you do is also put a 6.4 filter in it. And with that, you'll get better filtration and volume out of it. So I highly recommend that. Now, I will say there's an affiliate link to the deep dish pan I'm referencing. But I will say, I think you probably need to have it diagnosed. I don't know that your transmission's going out. I would probably get fresh fluid in it. The pan I talked about to help with that rigidity. Maybe ask your tuner to get some tune revision on there and see if they can't help you there. I hate math unless I'm around a bunch of 10-year-old people. What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother? So just got regulated return setup, MDC, diesel. It's really nice. And that's not bad. The regulated return kits aren't. I don't think they're terribly hateful at all. Kirk, I appreciate hearing that, man. I really do. Thanks, brother. This is probably one of the rowdiest live streams in the whole I've ever done. Injectors are starting to show signs of stiction. Any advice on how I can squeeze some more time out of them? Chow. I would recommend arch oil. Help get a little more time out of your injectors. I mean, it's a Band-Aid. It's not fixing the problem. It just is going to help you get a few more miles out of them. That being said, they could have a failure at any time and recalls to place it. So I don't want you to think that arch oil is going to be a magic cure for them. But typically, arch oil has helped people get more miles out of their injectors as they were starting to show signs of failing. Well, stiction, I should say. Let's see here. What oil are you using? I think that was directed towards Chow. Oh yeah, the CTS2 being able to daisy chain a bunch of sensors in, super awesome. Also, there's even an option. I don't own it, but you can actually buy an option for backup cameras. I thought about hooking up a backup camera on the very back of my camper and running it to the front so I could see what's happening behind me through my CTS monitor. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But because the truck comes with a backup camera already, excuse me, again, being endless sensors that you can put on there. But it also has a hookup for like auxiliary switches on there. If you don't want to wire it up through your factory stuff, you can literally hook them up to your CTS. I thought that was pretty cool. Jay, I want to say this. Don't sell a testicle modifying your truck. Trust me, you'll be upset later. Yep, Ninja, right on the 64 millimeter, being able to tell it. The 64 millimeter really is, my opinion, the sweet spot for it. 130 miles per hour on 35s. That's got to be kind of scary. I'm not going to lie. MTS Diesel. I do remember these guys. I don't know a ton about them. Looks like the solenoids. Okay. This is one thing. Must be used stock pressure regulator valve or some oversized pressure regulator valve pump only. Body with increased line pressure following life transmission. So one thing I'll say, I go back and forth on the solenoids. I personally don't like every solenoid in my built trans is factory. The pump is factory. There is a Transgo shift kit in there, which that setup that you showed me says they don't recommend. I also MTS sells, I believe, their own like pan too, and I would their pan. I actually think is pretty cool. If it's the company I'm thinking of. Ugh, no, that's ugly. Yeah, don't buy that. That looks terrible. I could have sworn they used to sell like a cool transmission pan though. Sorry guys, I'm on here. Nope, I don't see it anymore. Oh well. But they even say it's completely electronically controlled except for the one thing. I would recommend it. They said it's a wear point. I'd recommend just replacing it with factory stuff. You can try a Transgo shift kit, which I have in mine, and like, granted, my transmission's kind of hard because it's billet everything in there. I love that transmission so much. It was so expensive, but darn it if it's not an awesome transmission. But those solenoids, you can actually have your tuner change a lot of stuff with. Now, mind you, if you go to those solenoids, you need to have your tuning revised. Unless something's changed, which things change. But I would talk to your tuner if you're running any and make sure that what you need to change is there. And I'd get their opinion on it. Me personally, I don't like those solenoids. I think just going with factory solenoids is a better option. And look at all the guys building transmissions. At least the last time I looked, everybody building transmission ran factory solenoids. They didn't upgrade the solenoids. So I think that personally, I think that's a little bit of marketing hype because you can increase your line pressure through tuning. You don't have to do it. It's not a 4R where you had to actually go in and do valve bodies and such to get better performance out of your transmission. Ninja. Holy crap, I am getting behind. I'm sorry, guys. I am having fun. So what I thought was my horn zip tied to the firewall ended up being an aftermarket alarm. On a side note, I found out the aftermarket remote had remote start. Oh, hey. Silver linings, OJ. My cruise control star replaced the sensor on master cylinder input sensor, new controls on steering wheel. I have purchased so I have output shaft sensor and the clock spring en route. Somebody else was talking about that clock spring. Jay, I'm going to be honest, brother. I wish I knew how to help you, but you've replaced everything that I'm aware of. Unless there's is there a module somewhere for the cruise control that can fail? That would be the only other thing I can think to look for. Ford parts counter guy. Yeah, Jay, Ninja's a super cool dude, and I mean, he's offering to help. I definitely hit him up. He can take care of you, probably help you get an answer. Chow, no problem, man. I hope it helps. Injectors are kind of expensive, and I don't have a hookup on injectors for anybody, so I can't help out in that department. At some point, I do need to call up Ninja and talk to him, and maybe get. I think there's some parts I need for the 6.7 or something. I should hit you up and have them ordered. I do try to support local businesses, including my Ford dealership. I think they get excited if they hear me that I'm looking at a vehicle because they know they're about to make a lot of money off me when I go buy a bunch of crap. It's Amia, how you doing, brother? I didn't even think about that. I will say Forescan for diagnosing stuff is an incredibly powerful scanning tool that can help save you a lot of money. Also, guys, I need to do better about merch. Check it out. I know one of you guys said that you have it in your Amazon cart. Teespring for the other stuff, but this is my favorite shirt. Don't buy the premium shirt. Do not buy the more expensive shirt. I'm telling you, this is the classic one, and this is one of my favorite shirts I have. It's nice. I mean, it's not super nice, don't get me wrong, but I love this cool olive with the black design. It just looks cool. Check them out. Let's see here. You gotta work tomorrow. Sorry, Ninja. No, Ninja, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Really, seriously, I do. One of these days, when I get time, I do need to remember to call and get something ordered from you. I have an 07 King Ranch and the heated seats don't work. Nick, the first thing I would do is check all your fuses, and then start checking the plug. That'd be my first step. You'd be shocked how many times that's the issue. After there, it could just be the heating elements dead. I'd start looking at other, if it's not, I mean, that system's pretty simple. Check your fuse, and then check the other stuff, or check the controller and go from there. But for the most part, I want to say after that, it's probably the heating element itself. Controlled Insanity, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it, brother. Make 6.0s great again, guys. That shirt's never going away. I don't care how tired of it people get. I think that's funny. And I know making insert whatever you're into great again has become super popular. I just think it's funny about 6 liters. Controlled Insanity, man. Seriously, thank you. I really do appreciate it. You always support the channel. It seriously means the world to me. I'd love to start a channel for guys like me who doesn't have a lot of money but need to haul or just have fun. Kirk, do it. My biggest regret about YouTube is not doing it sooner, because I wanted to start. I originally talked about starting a channel 2 years prior to starting it. Funny conversation with my brother Josh. When I told him I thought I was starting a YouTube channel, he literally said to me, "You're an idiot, Jared." And 2 years later, I get a phone call. I'm hanging out with a friend, and he's like, "Jared, I have the solution." And I go, "What's that?" He goes, "We need to start a YouTube channel." And we did it. We went through with it. It has been one of the best things I've ever done. I love the channel. I love that my videos have helped a lot of people. People I've never met. I've gotten to have conversations with people literally halfway across the world. It's just been super cool. So, Kirk, do it. And if you ever have any questions on it or advice, hit me up. Private message me on Instagram. If you ever have questions about what I do, what I use to make this happen. Seriously, my biggest regret was not doing it. If you go do it and you don't like it, the worst thing you do is you stop, whereas you might love it. You could be 1,000 times bigger than this channel level will be, you never know. So I encourage anyone that's on the fence to thinking about doing it, go ahead and do it, brother, and reach out to me. Seriously, I'm happy to talk to you about what I do and what I've done, mistakes I've made and learned from that have hindered my growth, and things I've done that I wish I did sooner to increase my growth. So please, Kirk, do it, man. And anybody else in here that's thinking the same thing, do it. Fine shaving on your magnet and the oil. Should I sleep tonight, man? I'd be anxious. That being said, at one point I did have shavings on it in the 6 liter, and my 6 liter is currently down. Now, I will say this: it took like a year and a half from that time till anything happened. So, but you could be in the start to having a bad day, man. Seriously. If it's glitter, it's kitty litter. Ninja, I just want to say seriously, I do appreciate that, and the fact, like, really, this has been one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life, is doing this channel and meeting I've gotten to meet some of you people. I've been fortunate enough for that. I've had people come to the few events I've been at, and it's super humbling. It makes me feel great about what I do here. And I hope next season life is a little more back to normal. I hope the 6 liters back up and running, because I'd like to tow it to a few events, mainly East Coast events. But down the road, I'd love to go out. I'd honestly would love to do a road trip like far out west. I think that'd be really cool one day. That's not in the books anytime soon, but I hope I get to meet more of you guys, because this has truly been an awesome experience for me. So thank you, Ninja. Seriously, your willingness to help means a lot. Jay, get after it. Get a deer. Feel free to send me deer meat. Hey, Ninja, seriously, I get it, man. I just appreciate your willingness to help. And, like I said, I tried to send people places that I know. And, I really do appreciate it. I think that's awesome. These people are awesome, and you can get a discount. Wait, where can you get a discount on Arch Oil? Ninja, yeah, sometime we'll definitely talk, brother. Sean, you are too far away, brother. All the way in Washington. I would love to see more states one day. I don't know that. Sean, what's in Washington for me to go see? Jay, I'm not prior military. I just like the haircut. And part of it is this receding hairline. I don't know if you guys see how bad this is, but I'm gonna be bald in a few years, I'm sure. So no, I just like the high and tight. My barber does a fantastic job of it. And yeah, it's really, I have a receding hairline. I feel I've been blessed with many things, but great hair, definitely not one of them. I do want to take this moment to say thank you to all of our veterans out there. Uh, I got to say this, that what our veterans do for us, I think about all the time. And it is one of the biggest uh, regrets. It's probably one of the only regrets I truly have is not serving the country. So all of the veterans out there seriously mean the world to me. I support you guys. You guys go into, whether you agree with it or not, you have a you do your job, and you help protect this country and defend freedom across the globe. And thank you. Um, God bless each and every one of you guys. I'm a huge supporter of veterans. I always make sure on these holidays to have a post talking about veterans and Memorial Day and what they actually mean. Because a lot of guys, people say Happy Memorial Day. That's kind of silly to me because Memorial Day seems like more of a somber holiday where we should be taking moments to, we should enjoy it and celebrate what men and women have done for us. But I think it's also important to take time to remember what we actually celebrate it for and the sacrifices that those men and women have made. So big supporter of the U.S. military and what they've done and allow all of us to do in our daily lives that sometimes I think we forget. So anybody in here, thank you for your service. Or if you're currently serving, thank you as well. And just love you guys. 5 acres, if you need to say here. That's awesome. 5 acres of land. That's cool. Oh man, this nose. It's awful. Ugh. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. You got the same hairline. OJ, maybe we'll get a picture when we meet if we meet up and talk about the wheels. All right, coming out to see 6.0 country. Though I mean, it's 6.0 country all over. They sold so many of these things. It's funny. Excuse me. One thing I was thinking about putting on the back of it, so having like 6.0 bros in the lettering or even the design on the front, and then on the back, most hated diesel still outsold the other guys. I thought that'd be kind of funny. I do think about shirts I want to make, and I'm a little apprehensive because I don't know if it's just my simple sense of humor or if they're actually funny. So what do you guys think about if I put on the back of a shirt, most hated diesel still outsold the rest on the back? Would you guys be interested in a shirt like that? Or what changes to that shirt would you guys make? Controlled insanity. Jared, have you ever considered the BD shifter? Select whatever gear you want with a button, including actual fourth if you wanted. So I will say this. I can't remember if I said this in my tow review of the 6.7. I love the ability to manually select my gear while still having an automatic transmission. You don't lose boost in between gears. And it just really works well. I love it, especially if you know a hill's coming up and you can just come down in your gears and take the hill full on without blowing a bunch of, well, not that 6.7s blow smoke because of the really nice emissions system that I didn't take off at all. So I love it. So I have actually really thought about that on the 6.0 because you can also lock gears out, which would be nice on dynos to be able to do. So I've considered it. There seems to be some mixed reviews about about reliability. I'm a big fan of BD Diesel. I just like their products. I've had good luck with them. I recommend it. Guys, I'll say this. If you buy from BD Diesel or you buy it, flood their email and let them know that I advocate for them here. I feel really bad. They sent me 6.7 exhaust manifolds, and I just haven't been able to get them on. I feel bad about it, but it's my only truck, and everything on there is a freaking project. So I just need the ability to be down long enough. And if an exhaust manifold bolt breaks, I need the ability to get it out. And it's a little above my level. Ideally, in the future, I'm able to actually, like, I hate having a mechanic do it, but I think I might need to because I'm worried about breaking a bolt, or at least need a friend that's good at extracting bolts willing to come help if I run into issues. I will say we're going to do a full piping kit on that truck, which will make getting to those manifolds like a 10 to 15 minute job to start working on them, as opposed to a hour to 3 hour job getting to. So I want to do it. I'm just worried. I'm really worried about breaking a bolt because this truck has broken so many bolts. It's awful. And in that area, it's going to be bad. I will say if I do it, I plan to heat every single bolt up. Not a single bolt is going to be attempted without being heated up first. So yeah, I have concerns. But BD Diesel makes sweet stuff. I have heard mixed reviews about that shifter. I'm very intrigued by it. I wish they'd come up with something a little cleaner for letting you know which gear you're in. I feel like they can do a little better there, but I think it's a really cool product. Ninja, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, thank your family for their service for me. I'm sure they do not care who 6.0 Bros is or who Jared from 6.0 Bros is, but seriously, I just want to thank them for me. Ninja, was your uncle legitimately on the Titanic? Jay, thank you for your service. God bless, brother. Emissions, we don't need no stinking emissions. It's a Mia. It really comes down. It really comes down to the ability to have the truck down for a long period of time. That's really my concern. If I can afford to have the truck down, I'll more than likely attempt it. I'll probably talk to a few mechanics, a few friends of mine and find out what it'll cost me if I do break bolts to extract them. Because a lot of guys want to do that job cab off now. And I think pulling a cab on there's something to the tune of about $300 in labor to pull and another 300 to drop it. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. I want to do it because I want to make the video myself for you guys. But I will say this, it'll definitely happen after intercooler piping kit goes on, because that'll kind of help me be able to mess with it more. That being said, intercooler pipe kits, pain in the butt too. There is a tool to fix if you mess up that one crossover pipe from your exhaust manifold to your EGR valve. So there's a few things to consider, but we are going to do that stuff. I don't think there's any other issues with any other bolts up there. At least not that I can think of. Jay, a 2026 7. I'm interested to see how the 2020's turbo holds up. I'd love for you to do a better LS swap rear video and get an affiliate link for them. I don't know why I'd want to LS rear swap anything. Don't get me wrong, I think the LS is a great engine, and I love the guys not Truck Guy Joe. Hold on. Slow Restoration. Danny over at Slow Restoration. He's got the 6.0 V8 gas engine. Oh, limited slip. I'm like, LS swap the rear. I'm thinking you want the rear axle out of an LS. So in my 6-liter, I might actually do that. The only problem with that is you need to understand setting your backlash. So you need to get, like, it's simplistic in design, but you need to understand the gears rotating around and how to know how much of that. So backlash is something I'd have to learn. I do have Hammer Down Motorsports actually knows how to do that, and I do plan to put a limited slip in the white truck. The black truck has a electric locking rear diff that I don't plan to mess with. I'll say this, it works well for what I use it on. Control and say. So when the white truck is back, one of the top 4 things for the white truck I plan to do is a limited slip rear. So it's in the works. It is a plan. It's just not there. Nick, on the downpipe side of the turbo, I have a bad leak. What could it be from? Are you talking like what kind of leak? Like an exhaust leak, an oil leak? Because if the turbo is bad, oil will leak out there. I'm kind of confused on the wording of your question. So if you could clarify what kind of leak, and we can start fixing that. Oh yeah. Jay, definitely running. I'm sure. I mean, you figure my white truck runs a 13.6, making low 500 horsepower. And that's with me not really knowing what the heck I'm doing. Like, I honestly think my white truck currently has the ability to run probably a low 30. I shouldn't say low. I want to say 13.3 to 13.5 if I get my act together with that truck running right. These common rail trucks, these 6.7s, 15 and newer, you can make 600 horsepower with a turbo swap and delete. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing to me. That being said, it's different. Like my black truck, I have a race tune in right now. Makes more horsepower than my white truck. I would prefer, when it comes to going fast, I would prefer my white truck over the black truck. Even though it's making less horsepower, it's just a different feel, and the 6-liter is a lot more fun to drive, in my opinion. Which trucks came with open rear? So you can still get an open rear. Sean, I have not dynoed the black truck. OJ, honestly, on Super Duties, you could get an open rear on pretty much any year truck. Limited slip's been an option, at least I believe, on all the Super Duties. I'm trying to think. Currently, I believe you either, I don't know if you, let's go to Ford.com and see if you can still order a limited slip for a Super Duty. Because I know, so you have the electric locking rear diff as an option. I can't remember if there was a, I can't remember if you had a, the new trucks do look awesome. I'd love one so bad. All right, so 250, I guess doesn't matter on cab configuration, but we'll pick it anyway. This dumb thing. So I don't know that you can still get a limited slip on the current trucks, to be honest. Powertrain. Let's see here. So 6.7. Holy crap, the 6.7 is a $10,495 option. Come on, give me my. Oh, you still can get a limited slip. Yep. So you can still get limited slip today. Honestly, I think I'd rather limited slip personally. But open rear diffs are much more common than people realize in these trucks. Easy 10K, no, yeah, seriously. Just gave me his 2005 Virgin 6.0. Has 82,000 of oh my god. Only 82,000 miles on an 05. Got 97 Dodge, 20 Cummins too. I'm tired of keeping trucks. Well, Jay, my recommendation would be to sell the 97 Dodge and put all that money into your 6-liter. I shouldn't say that. Save all the money to put into the 6-liter down the road. I'm not for sure. I always run to see what gear is. Limited slip diff. I was just wondering which power strokes came with open rear. I'm pretty certain all the power strokes you could get an open rear diff. Like my white truck, I'm pretty certain is an open rear diff. Sell Dodge, build 6.0. See, it's clear the answer. Sell the Dodge and get the 6.0 built. Only 120,000 on an 03. That's crazy to me. I mean, realize my white truck has over 200,000 miles on it. And that's just a rough guess because I've run bigger size tires on it its entire life, so I don't really know where it's at. And all you guys with low mileage builds or trucks, that's crazy to me. Because my truck is the exact opposite. It is a whole bunch of nonsense. Sorry, checking one thing here. California truck. So my white truck started life in California, went to Texas for a couple years, then I had it shipped from Texas up to Pennsylvania. In your opinion, best 6.0 tuner? Hands down, best 6.0 tuner is an SCT. So I have an X3 on my white truck or my 6-liter, but I run an X4 on my black truck. The X4 is nice. I do have to say I really like the X4. I think it's nicer than the I think it's nicer than the X3, but I will say I don't plan to change the X3 on my truck. Here's an affiliate link to the tuner I recommend. Excuse me. Bully Dog. Unless you have one of the Bully Dog tuners that's basically an SCT tuner, I don't recommend them. Where's the Amazon? Because there's a Bully Dog that is basically an SCT. I forget what it's called. Bully Dog tuner. Because I think, yeah, so there's a Bully Dog BDX tuner, which, I mean, I'm only finding the SCT version of it here, but I believe Bully Dog sells one, and I believe it supports aftermarket tuning as well. So I would recommend that. Not the Bully Dog. Yeah, that's kind of the issue. Is a lot of the Bully Dog ones that aren't like the G. I think it's like a GT. I just saw it. A GT diesel tuner. Bully Dog 40417 GT Platinum tuner. Well, that's a gas one. So GT Platinum tuner is the one to stay away from. It's good for monitoring stuff. It's a semi-decent monitor, but SCT is just vastly superior. I did a video on this. I should bring that up. Let me see here if I can find it. 6.0 Powerstroke tuner. Yeah, look at that. I'm the first one. I just want to share it. I don't. Great. Now I'm watching crap on my own channel. I just want to share this link. Okay, here we go. Coming back. Here is a video. Open this in a different tab. That is a video to I talk about the SCT tuner and why it's the best tuner for your truck. But basically, what it is it tunes your transmission and your ECM at the same time. So it's kind of like it's just the best of both worlds. There are a few other things that will, but I do think the SCT tuner is just superior. It's the preferred tuning device for the 6.0. It's even still relevant in the 6.7. I tuned my 6.7 with an SCT X4. So keep that in mind. They're great. They have great products. Let me rephrase that. I hate their live wire. Some people like it. It's a decent, I like it, but I also hate it at the same time. It's not as nice as the Edge products. I say that holding an Edge product that's giving me a hard time right now. But the Edge product is a little nicer, and I do think it's better. But the SCT, you can get custom tunes written for it. Check out Blessed Performance. I hope he's still in here. Check out Blessed Performance and use code 6.0 Bros for 10% off tuning. So I highly recommend them. I'm running Blessed tunes in my 6.7 and love them so far. I'm hoping to get the truck washed up tomorrow morning. I got to run some plywood to my uncle's. I got to take a package over to my sister's house, and then I'm going to try to wash it. And we're going to I'm going to shoot the tune review tomorrow. And I'm also, I'm trying to learn how to kind of do better B-roll, which is basically when you guys see me put footage over top of me talking. I'm trying to learn to do that better than I currently do because I think I kind of suck at it. It's a me. I'll tell you what it's doing in a minute here. So I will say, guys, when I hit 10,000 subscribers, a few things I'm looking at doing is one, I'm considering upgrading my camera. I'm trying to get to a point where I can provide better footage for you guys. We'll see if I can get this to do what I need to. If I don't upgrade the camera, I might buy a second Hero 5. Actually, have it over here. This has been a good camera. The Hero 5 is what I've used for. I used the Hero 4 for a while. And then that was no longer, it wasn't mine. I was borrowing it from somebody. And then I got the Hero 5, and it's been a good camera. We've made changes to our system and how we do stuff. But I want to kind of get better B-roll to you guys and be able to kind of just bring a better overall quality. And I don't know that this camera can do what I need. Or I can't, one or the other. But I am working on trying to improve that. So that's kind of the other thing I do is I don't just try to get truck stuff. I buy stuff that if it wasn't for the channel, I wouldn't be into. Like this, I've never shot anything other than truck stuff. I did shoot somebody losing an awning at a campground because they irritated me, and I thought it was funny to film. I never put that out. I probably should. I think I still have that footage of someone losing their awning at a campground. You have 6 tunes from Sinister Diesel. Good so far on my SCTX4. What tunes does Sinister Diesel have? It's a Mia. So my Edge over here. The other day, I have actually had this unplugged for a little bit, and I was messing with it last night, trying to update it because it says that the software is corrupt and needs updated. So I will say I emailed. I couldn't get it to work. I'm having issues with the updating software. But I did email Edge last night. They emailed me back today, asked me a question. I answered, and they responded again. They told me to do one more thing, and they said if it doesn't work, to contact them and send it in to have them recover whatever's wrong. So far, very happy with their customer service. Provided they don't try to charge me like $100 to fix a device that after 2 years shouldn't be broken. So anyway, yeah. But I still stand by. I think they have the nicest stuff as far as monitoring goes. Ninja, I think Edge, as far as their monitoring stuff and customer service, I think they're top notch. I've never heard anything bad about them. Controlled Insanity, I agree with you. I have a hard time supporting Sinister. Yeah, I gotta tell you, Jay, I think you'd be happy. I hate to tell people to spend money, especially out of spite, because I do really have a hard time. Yeah, no, I will say this. When I plug it into my computer, it goes into a demo mode, works flawlessly for the demo. It's still all the screen all works perfectly. So I think it's a software thing, and I do have confidence that this will be resolved pretty painlessly. It'll suck that when I have to send it in, I'm not thrilled about that. But at the same time, I'm going to try what they asked me to do. I do plan to make a video on it, just kind of as an FYI. Like, I take it pretty seriously when I recommend products. I recommend a lot of products for people. So when I know there's an issue, I think I also have an obligation to make you guys aware of it and how that resolution came about. So I do plan to make a video about this, to be as straightforward as possible and as transparent. Because if I encounter it, I want you guys to be aware of it. I do always give companies the ability to fix whatever issue it is, but I want to be very transparent with you guys at the same time. So look for a video on what happened here in the near future. Only Sinister Diesel products I have is the coolant filtration. Yeah, I really struggle with Sinister Diesel. I think some of their stuff is insane. Like, they have exhaust headers for the 7.3 and 6.0, and they're stupid expensive for them to leak. I heard all the Sinister tunes are the patented blue. um, don't get me wrong. Other than I hate that blue, I shouldn't say I hate that blue. It's been done a lot, and I want something different. I am looking at powder coating stuff on the white truck and the 6.7. I'm not sure what color schemes I want to go with. So if my 6.0 is an easy fix and we're putting it back together, I would like to get like the oil cooler housing, powder coated. I would like to get the high pressure oil pump cover powder coated. I'd like to just get some powder coating stuff under there and kind of church it up a little bit. I'm not sure what color. So I originally was thinking about doing like a candy apple red, but now I'm going to do a candy apple red on my black truck because we're going to get some stuff powder coated. We'll say that. And I think it would just really pop on the black truck having all those things powder coated, especially like the suspensions parts I'm looking at doing. And then I was thinking maybe trying something. Like, I was thinking maybe trying white on my white truck, but I thought the suspension parts with white might be a little much. So I need another color recommendation. And what I want to do is cover it through. Like, we're going to do traction bars on the white truck. There's the axle swap still a thing. And there's just so much stuff I want to do. Degas bottle, where is it? Controlled Insanity, did you not see the not from Center, it's one of their tech mechanics, makes tunes, name is Jeff. Jay, I will say, honestly, if you ever want to try different aftermarket tuning, here's one thing I want to say about a 6-liter aftermarket tuning. And I don't know that it's this much in the 6.7 world, or it's not at least as dramatic of a thing. But I've tried Power Hungry Performance, Truck Source Diesel, Windrunner Performance Engineering, and Innovative Diesel. And there's at least 4 other tuners I want to try in the next, like within 12 months of getting the truck back. Every tuner is very different. It's like a different truck. And no one tuner has every quality I like. So I will say this, if you ever want to, I do recommend trying other people. Warren Diesel is on my list to try. Blessed Performance, I'm running on my 6.7. I plan to run them on my 6-liter and try them out. Yeah, let me get you a link. So we put it on Josh's truck. It's not obviously not on the white truck. The white truck is at the shop. So let me. Here we go. Oh crap! I gotta click on another video. Oh, look at that! You can applaud. I forgot I got that feature. On some of my videos, you can actually applaud, which gives you like this different, like some kind of emoji thing. Here's the video to the degas bottle getting put on Josh's truck. So yeah, it is available. And in that video, I have a link to Rhino Diesel Products on Instagram, and the best way to get it is to contact him on there. But yeah, no, he's done a few degas bottles. I think that's a while ago we did that, to be honest. Oh, that video did pick up. There initially it did like 200 views. Now it's at 1,700. So that's kind of cool. What's funny is how many of these videos for 6.0 Powerstroke degas bottle are me. Anyway, I highly recommend checking them out. I love those degas bottles. They're awesome. They're super sturdy. You could probably beat somebody with them. I don't recommend it. There's laws against that. But you could probably beat somebody with it and still put it in your truck and not have an issue with it. I am super proud of that darn degas bottle because I got to actually have a say in how that turned out. That made me feel pretty good being able to have a part in actually making a product. Now, obviously, I didn't physically make it, but I thought it turned out really good. So, guys, here's a random question: how are we feeling about 6.7 content? What do you guys think about the 6.7 on the channel and the direction we're going? We have an exhaust video coming up. We have the race tune review coming up, followed by a tow tune review. We just did the taillight video. We're going to do lights all the way around on it. I have a rough idea of how I want to do things. There'll probably be a grill install this winter as well. So what do you guys think about it? We talk about this a lot, but have you changed your mind on meth injection yet? Controlled insanity on doing it or not doing it. I can't remember what we've talked about. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you, man. Controlled insanity, I hope you're doing well. Truthfully. I'm all for doing water meth on the black truck, the 6.7. I plan to do it. Twin turbos on it. That's awesome. So on the black truck, I feel like I'm going to definitely do it. I don't plan to. Hold on, I want to read this comment. I like 6.7 content. I have a brother-in-law who threw a rod on 225,000, but he's a pipeline welder, so he has a lot of idle time. Joshua, has he deleted his 6.7? Pipeline workers, man, yeah, no, they work those trucks hard. I don't care what brand truck you own. Pipeline welders work their trucks really hard. I personally think what they do is harder on trucks than towing up and down the coast. Full delete on the truck. I mean, 225,000 miles ain't bad because that's a lot of work. So water meth injection, I'm going to definitely do on the truck 100%. It's not even a question. I'm sold on trying it. I've looked at a lot of different kits. I think I'd like to run maybe a progressive kit with or at least like there's like 2 stages where you can have it kick on. There's a lot of cool controllers that have come out. So on my 6.7, I have my BD throttle sensitivity switch mounted right by my steering wheel, and I'll probably mount and it's just with like the double-sided tape, and it's sticking well. I haven't had any issues, and I'll probably mount. That couch looks comfy. It is. This couch it's a recliner, And the only reason I'm not reclined is because, one, I'd have to hold the laptop personally, and that would be like a constant roller coaster for you guys. And two, I don't want to look too comfortable, but this couch is super comfortable. And there's a big old TV right there's 75-inch TV there. So this is one of my favorite places in the house. We are going to go where I normally film my live streams is right down there. And that's where we're going to go. Again, I'm just waiting on a new desk to come, and we're going to get some lights and kind of make that a nice little live stream area. I like the 6.7 content. Here's my thought. The EPA and Big Brother are going to continue to crush 6.7 dreams. I feel like staying strong on 6.0 content brings hope for us that are not finished building. Controlled Insanity, I want you guys to know I'm like, the 6.7 is literally not off the channel. I know it hasn't made an appearance, and I should go film over at Greg's and just show you guys, like, it is still around. It is a money thing, guys. It's going to be expensive to fix. I mean, there's a chance it might not be god awful to fix, but it's not going to be cheap. And it's just coming down to saving up the money. I want you guys to know I'm working hard to do that, and I don't want to cut corners. I want to make sure when I do it right. I thought I did that the time before. Who knows? Maybe I did something dumb. I don't know. But the 6.0 is not done. That's why I started doing the informative 6.0 stuff. And then I kind of felt like I was going a little too strong on it because it's a lot of times there wasn't even a 6-liter in the background. It was just me with a 6.7 talking about a 6-liter. And maybe I wouldn't feel that way as much if I went to the back of the truck and showed the tailgate. Where it could still be a 6-liter because guys swap that stuff over all the time. Maybe I'll do that in the future. So, not done with 6.0 content. I have lots of plans for it still, and it will happen. Josh was talking about getting new headlights and a new grill for his truck, to which I'd go put them on and shoot a video about it. So, not sure if that'll happen or not. But the 6.0 is not done. I have a lot. First off, my goal is to make a 700 horsepower 6-liter. I'm hoping to stick VGT for that goal. So we're not done in the 6-liter world at all. And after I hit 600 or 700 and drive it for a bit, we'll probably start working on creeping up more and racing more with it. So that's a few years down the road, but that is the goal. Now, water meth injection on the 6.7 is definitely going to happen. I've debated doing it sooner than later, especially now that there's the 6.7's had lost a few pounds lately. And I thought about swapping into his new Super Duty. That would be awesome. So, Josh is here, guys. I'd love to work on your truck. You just need to buy the parts for me to come work on it, and I will come fix it. I would love to see more 6.0 content, drag days, dynos, maybe even just a highway rant. I do like, so I don't know if you guys saw in the last tune review for the 6.7, but we got a new microphone for in-cab reviews, and the audio quality is just as good as all my other vlogs. So I do plan to do more of that. I want to kind of discuss some of like the more technical stuff about 6.0s and 6.7s, like understanding the fuel systems. I think a lot of guys don't know what's happening with them. So explaining them a little bit and talking about it. But water method injection, 100% going to happen. Also, dyno days and race days. When the 6.0 is back, that's exactly what we're going to do. I will, depending on what is broken on it and what gets fixed, I will also be turning around and trying to save money for whatever I break next on it, because I don't plan to take it easy. And we're not going to go racing in the 6.0 and plan to take it, baby it down the track. In the wise words of Cletus McFarland, full send, baby. So lots more planned in that department. Do it for Dale. Cletus McFarland's freaking hilarious. But yeah, no, it'll be done for Dale, and full send. and James get the toolbox. A 6.0 in his F-150, or did you say two? Or did you mean to say 250? Because if he put a 6.0 in a 150, that's awesome. It was an 8-year commitment. I'm assuming you meant F-150. That's awesome. I hope he races it. That's such a cool build. Water meth injection. So here's why I want to do it. Here's why I want to do it in my 6.7 so bad. One is I want to start testing fuel. Like, we've already seen such a big gain in fuel economy with the loss of some weight. That's not related to any federally mandated stuff falling off. Those PA roads, man, they're rough. But I will not be watching 2.5 hours. I'll probably catch glimpses of it because I do think he's a very entertaining YouTuber. I really like him. I love the whole persona he's put on and this character he's created. I think it's super cool. So I do really like his channel. But I will probably not be watching it. One, I want to shoot at least one video. I have a lot of running around to do. And I'm running a 5K with some friends tomorrow at a local. We have a place called Field of Screams around here. And some of my friends from work will be running it. And I said I'd go with it. So I'm terribly out of shape because the gym's closed for so long. So we'll see. Hopefully I don't have a heart attack. I'm kidding. I won't have a heart attack. Nick, thanks for stopping in, man. Have a good one, brother. But yeah, so meth. I want to see if we don't see even more fuel economy gains. Gurlit, see you, man. Have a good one. I want to see if we don't have more fuel economy gains. I want to see, definitely while towing, I want to see lower exhaust temps than I did. There was a lot of times towing I had to back out of the throttle because my exhaust temps were getting like 1400 degrees. I will say I know where that probe is in the 6.7 isn't 100% accurate, but it was getting hot and I want to see it come down. I do plan to move that probe into the exhaust manifold soon, to be honest. I just also know it's most likely going to be a project because those those bolts are going to break. God, it's going to suck. And I'm going to be super irritated about it. So I got to deal with that nonsense. But I do plan to put that probe where it's supposed to be and do a comparison from where it's at now in the setup to where it's going to be and how that all works and if it changes that. But my exhaust temps were getting high while towing. And in my 6.0, I'm used to in my 6.0. I haven't found the hill yet that I had to get out of the throttle on that truck. Whereas with how my 6.7 was, I felt like I had to get out of the throttle a fair amount of times. It was kind of a letdown. It towed really well, but where I could go full steam ahead in my 6-liter, I had to back out in the 6.7. Now, I will say we're comparing a factory truck with factory emissions, all that stuff, to my significantly modified 6.0. It's an unfair comparison, but I will say the performance of the 6-liter I liked more than the 6.7. The quietness while towing for a long duration was nice. And the 6.7 seemed to work less to do the same thing, except when pulling grades. And in that case, the 6.0, my 6.0 at least, again, it's modified, so it's hard to give an apples-to-apples comparison, significantly outperformed the 6.7 in that regard. Jay, have a good one, brother. Thanks for coming in. Good luck deer hunting. Be safe tomorrow. And if you ever want to get rid of Sinister Tunes, check out Blessed Performance. Use the coupon code. Or Truck Source Diesel is also good. Power Hungry Performance also good too. Check them out. And we're probably getting close to the end of the live stream here. Bambies. But yeah, so with the water meth, I want to see if, especially while towing, I don't think Hey, Josh, have a good one, brother. You have a good night. I think while towing, there's a fuel economy gain that can be had. I think unloaded, it's going to be pretty negligible because, especially when you're at cruising temps, you're not really going to be making enough boost frequently to even really activate it. And I don't think I'm still doing research to understand the whole water meth thing. My understanding is you don't want to inject too low in boost. You want to be in boost a little bit. So I'm still learning some stuff, but I do plan to venture into that with the 6.7. I will most likely West Virginia hills. So Chow, after I finish talking about water meth, we're going to talk about what you need to be looking into. So with the 6.7, yeah, we're going to do it. I have debated either, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it before I do the whole piping kit or if I'm going to wait until I do. It's up here. It's coming. Piping kit, or if I'm going to do it after I do, or just now and have there's a piece I'll have to have drilled and tapped to put the water meth in. Basically, it's a big CNC piece, machined piece that has the quick disconnect on it that pops on. We'll do the water meth on that. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I have also considered, I think it would be cool. I haven't seen this. Typically, everybody does it post intercooler. I want to know if it's beneficial to do it before the intercooler. Does it actually help on these trucks if it's before the intercooler? I think it'd be cool, or even running a dual stage before and after your intercooler. Again, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to look into. So we'll see. That might get a little out of hand, but it'd be fun. Now, Chow. So, Chow, what you need to be worried about in your truck. Hey, Controlled Insanity, man, thank you so much for the super chat, and I appreciate all your support. I'm so happy you're able to come on. We'll probably be doing another live stream Tuesday night. Just a heads up. So Tuesday night, there'll probably be a live stream. I forget the time I'm looking at doing, but just stay tuned for that. That's coming up. We're going to try just some new stuff with some of this. So good night, man. Have fun with your brother. Have a good night. Chow with yeah, it's a me. I was thinking about that too. I don't know. I really don't know. I'd be interested to try it. I know I wouldn't want additional condensation in there. To which I'm sure if I let as I let the truck sit after running for a bit with no boost but air moving through it, I'd probably be able to clean it up pretty quick. Or it could just be a terrible idea and someone's already tried it and failed miserably. I don't know. But I was thinking of a few different things to at least try. And like I said, I'm still working on my research part of that. I don't know if I haven't found there's not a ton out there that's truly great information on water meth injection. Chow, so with your truck, if you have any plastic parts on your intake system, that'd be my concern. Pulling some of those West Virginia hills they're big. So the intercooler, these are the parts I would be looking at making sure I have changed over. So 6.0 Powerstroke intercooler. I'd make sure that your intercooler is switched over. I think this, I'm looking for the CSF one. Ugh, finding all this stuff. Okay, so you want to make sure your intercooler switched over. I'm just looking at one right here, making sure it is actually the correct one. Okay, yes, this is for the 6.0 Powerstroke, so we'll send this in here. This is good ratings. I would recommend this. This looks like the CSF 60, 13 or 18, something like that, for the Powerstroke. So you want to have the aluminum end tanks. This is what I would recommend here. Another affiliate link for the intercooler, because that plastic could very well break while pulling some of those hills. These trucks are getting older. The plastic doesn't like the oil very much, so you're at risk for a failure there. The other thing to look at, if you don't already, would be all metal intercooler pipes. Now, I do not advocate for cheap intercooler pipes. I have tried them. I have had issues with them. I have a whole video talking about them and what I think you would need to do to make them decent. Let's see what piping kits come up. I also think the Mishimoto one is half dumb. At least the hot side pipe, I think, is stupid. The cold side pipe, my brother has their whole piping kit, and I stand pretty strongly on the hot side pipe being stupid, but the cold side pipe doesn't seem to be bad. Man, I can't find. I like MBRP has a nice one. No Limit Fab has nice ones. Mishimoto's the nicest one I can find on here. Now, so the cold side pipe we didn't have fitment issues on Josh's, so I don't feel terrible recommending it. Just not as good as I could feel with some of the other stuff. So we'll go one more page here. But if you have the plastic intercooler pipe, that needs changed because that very likely can blow. But other than that, those are your biggest concerns, man. I wouldn't be super worried outside of those things we just talked about. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like I'll need to give you a part I don't feel great about. But I will say it's not bad. But also check other places for. I don't want to go looking all over the world for it right now and be off the live stream page. But here's the other one. Oh, good. You don't have that. So, Chow, there are a lot of intercoolers over the over $700, but I will say, I think most people are served fine by the link I sent you, and I'd recommend that one. I personally like CSF. I've used them. Now, I use their really thick one, but for most people, I don't think you're getting a whole lot of extra performance out of it over their standard upgrade, and their performance one's double the price. Now, I'll say this: I found my 6028 is the one I run. I found it on eBay when I bought mine for like $350, so it was a heck of a deal. I haven't been able to find them for less than 500 recently. So I don't know that I think they're necessarily worth that, because you do start kind of bumping into the next category. I should say they're worth it, but it made a sweeter deal when I found it for $350 on eBay. And that's the 6028 if you want to look it up. Rock Auto had it the cheapest last time I looked. If you have the metal pipes, the only thing I would consider doing would be the boot kit and making sure all your clamps are in good shape. We'll see if Amazon has any decent boot kits. I will say the Mishimoto boots are super nice that Josh has. I will say that. I don't have a single bad thing to say about the boots they use. Super high quality. Their clamps are okay. I will say I always keep 2 spare clamps with me on any trip. At least 2 on any towing trip, and that's for the small boot that comes right off the turbo, and at least 1, if not 2, of the larger ones. I've been fortunate not really needing to use them, but just to be on the safe side, better safe than sorry. Just looking at the boot kits right now. We're going to look at, I am going to bring up one other, oh crap, I can't even think of the name right now. Riffraff Diesel. They have boot kits, and their boot kits are super nice for the 6.0. I mean, they're expensive, but they're nice. So I'm going to send you this page because I think these boots are really, really nice. And they have reasonably priced clamp kits on there as well. That's big. So check that site out for your boots. You might want to make sure you have fresh set on there. My kid has less bends than any other I found. Yeah, I gotta say though, I still just really hate the hot side pipe for Mishimoto. I think it's dumb. I think they could have done a better job. Now I will say it fits better on most 6 liters. Josh and I both have 04s that there's this metal plate there, and they kind of don't talk about that at all. So its fitment isn't universal completely. It would fit even worse on my truck. I got to remove that. Anyway, so I think no limit has really nice stuff. I run MBRP, and I think that's one of the nicest hot side pipes out there. Obviously, I'm biased. I have it. I'm gonna do it again. What's upsetting is I can't put the 6.0 Pros account on timeout for comments like I can other accounts. The boots though for the Mishimoto kit seriously are good. Riffraff Diesel though, if you have all stock stuff, is really nice. The price for the Mishimoto boot kit and clamp kit compared to Riffraff with boots and clamps is about the same. So I'd really just pick your poison. But those would be the easiest ones to go to since you already have metal pipes. So the Ford one, the Ford one's nice, but the Ford one doesn't fit amazingly either. There's literally a plate on there for as it hits the battery box or the battery thing that holds it. So I mean, the Ford one's I don't think the Ford one's bad. Just they kind of are like, this is gonna happen. We can't stop it. My MBRP one doesn't rub on my truck. So the other thing that can happen is as the boots age and kind of get weak, so as the boots age and kind of get weak, they kind of start to hang down a little lower. When you put those fresh boots on there, it literally picks the pipe up a little bit. So there's that as well. I do like the Ford boots. I hear they've upgraded them a little bit. I don't know how expensive they are, but I did hear they updated them. And the lines also, those are supposed to go into like the indentation in the there's an indentation, there's like a little bead inside their clamp or their boots that's supposed to sit in the groove on the intercooler pipe. So I like that, and that's where the line on the outside is that clamp down. So a lot of people try to put that boot on right up against the part that gets real fat. I shouldn't say real fat. It goes like 2.5 inches to 3 inches. But the boot's not supposed to be there. It's actually supposed to be down a little bit and sitting in that groove. Then you clamp that piece that's grooved down around it. So something to consider. But guys, I do think we are going to end the live stream. I'm hoping to have a video back to you guys. I don't have a soft couch in my garage. Guys, I'm hoping to have a video to you Sunday. I'm hoping to have the exhaust video to you Sunday. We plan to film the race tune review tomorrow. And I'm also probably going to film one of the informative videos tomorrow as well. Guys, check the link for 6.0 Bro merch. Check out Blessed Performance using 6.0 Bros as a coupon code. The Turbo sponsor, same thing, 6.0 Bros. Links all down in the description. Thank you guys for all your support. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me. Next live stream, Tuesday night, we're going to try one and see how it performs. We might change our day to Tuesdays if everything goes well. So just trying new stuff with you guys on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Really trying to hit that number before the end of the year. There will be some specials coming up for the holiday season as well. So thank you guys. And if you're able to meet up on the Tuesday night live stream, I'll post that as soon as I check some stuff. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Guys, thank you again. And everybody have a good weekend. And I will be in touch soon. OJ, I think you left. OJ, are you still in here, brother? If not, or if you are, I should say, hit me up on Instagram if you're interested in those wheels. And I'll see you guys in the next upload. Take care.